Hello and welcome. It's Natalie from Odd Page Society. I wanted to go through today how I am planning on fixing my little boo-boo here. So what I've done with this cover is I have embossed it with a Spellbinders embossing folder. And then I went ahead and I used a craft knife to cut out this window. And I have adhered a piece of paper from the Tim Holtz palette paper line. This is the part of the pink collection. I have colored in the flowers very subtly, and then I covered it with a combination of distress glazes. This top corner is vintage photo, and I don't like how I made this line, but I also don't really want to add more embossing powder because I've done about 4 layers on this. So I was trying to figure out how to kind of dull this. I didn't like the options that I had explored as far as putting a piece of ephemera or something over top of it, because I want to, it's the back of the book and I want to keep it fairly simple, but this just bothers me. So what I'm going to try today is I'm going to try to do some stenciling just periodically over the cover, like the back of the cover, and I think that that'll help just tone it down so it's less obvious of that. What I'm going to use is Simon Hurley Solar paste in Golden Hour as my paste. I think it'll go well just with the color combination that I have going there. I have these silicone brushes that I may or may not use for my stencil. I just wanted them handy. And then I have some palette knives. I think these are from a Hero Arts kit. This could be from Hero Arts, and this could be from a Simon Hurley package that I got. I'm not sure. You don't need them all. I just, I like options. Okay, the stencils that I chose are from Finnabair. This is the stencil Old Pages. I quite like them. I haven't actually used them yet. So we can just kind of have a look, and I'm going to decide which stencil to use today. The most important thing that I have found with using stencil paste is to remember that it dries a lot quicker. Sorry, I've just adjusted the camera there on you guys. It dries a lot quicker on your stencil than it does on your project. So what I do is I have in my craft room a sort of overflow baking dish. This is just a 9x13 pan. I've filled it with water. Basically, you want to make sure that whatever you're using just fits your stencil. So this is long enough that it's going to fit my stencil, and I can just plop it in the water after I use it, no problem. So this is option number 1. I'm not sure what language this is in, but it's kind of fun that it's not English. And these ones I think I'm going to shy away from because I would prefer to use, this might be a little challenging to see here. I would prefer to use these just kind of like on their own. This one might work just as a symbol, I suppose. It could work for some coverage up there, but I think I'll set that one aside. This is just part of my plan. Sorry for the jerky camera. I have been trying to kind of make it work a bit better in my space. So I'm just getting used to this, the orientation of where it is. This font I think is a little bit too harsh for me for this project because it's a bit softer. So I think that one is one we can set aside. And then I have another stencil, so just let me go grab that for a second here. Okay, this is another Finnabair stencil. I don't know the name of it because I haven't stocked it. Like I haven't cataloged it in my stash with the name, unfortunately. But I like the larger kind of scriptiness of it. I'm really enjoying that. So this is the one that I'm going to go ahead and use. I can just put that off to the side because I don't need it anymore. All right, I'm gonna just kind of line up where I'm thinking I like the wording to be. I probably don't want to do too much paste in this area, and I want to make sure all my strings and everything are off. Ideally, I would have done this prior to gluing my whole book together, but here we are. It is never too late to sort of add things. I'm going to be very mindful of the fact that I have this window here and I don't actually want to get anything on the window. So I can open this up. I like to put my lid kind of to the side. You want a tool that is going to fit inside of the jar that you're using. So this one will fit. This one I believe fits as well though, and I quite like it. You don't need a ton of paste, and I like to keep the paste just at the tip of whatever tool I'm using. So this is the area that I want to concentrate on the most, but I don't want it to be very stark there, like as in obvious that that's just the only area that I'm wanting to cover up and adjust. So I'm going to use some partial impressions, and then I have the stencil secured with my right hand. And then if you're right-handed, you would secure it with your non-dominant hand. I'm making sure that I'm pressing down on the stencil so that the paste doesn't sort of squeeze out along the edges, and I'm not pressing too hard with my tool. And then you can just kind of dip in and grab some more. I don't want to go all the way across, but I want the images that I'm covering to be completely filled in. So this stencil is a higher stencil. I don't know how many millimeters thick it is, but if you have a thicker stencil, you're obviously going to need more paste, and then you'll get a higher, like more of a raised look in whatever end result you get. So that's something to be mindful of as well when you're picking stencils. I find different companies use different materials, and then you get differing effects with that as you would. So I do want to kind of go just up to the corner here. You sort of have to envision what this looks like as you go, because once you pull it up, you can't, unless it's dried, like you really can't fit it back on again. So just keep that in mind when you're doing this, that you keep it down nice and secure. You don't move it while you put your paste on. I'm liking the angle that this is going on. Just gonna pick up some more here. You can pick up a little bit more if you use your second hand, but just like tell your non-dominant hand not to move as much as possible, and you will get the best results for your efforts. If there are spots that you kind of think need to be a little smoother, like this paste does not self-level, which means it's not going to smooth out on its own. So if there's a rough spot on how you've stenciled it, it's going to dry and be rough, which if that's what you're going for and that's what you're looking for, that's okay. But if you're wanting more of a smooth finish, just be mindful that you need to put the effort in to get that result. The product isn't going to do it for you, as some products tend to do. So visually on here, I just kind of have to picture that I've got this sort of like, it's not a wave, but I've got this cascade coming down, and I possibly want a little bit over here just to balance it out. Otherwise, it might look a little bit strange. Now, this is one of those things where if I wanted to, I could remove my stencil and then I could have a look and I could just kind of adjust where the stencil is and move some of it down if I wasn't 100% certain like what it was going to look like. The benefit of using this technique on the surface that I'm using on is I have covered this entire cover with multiple layers of embossing glaze, so there shouldn't be any paper fibers to soak in the embossing paste, which means that when I peel this off, theoretically, if I don't like how it looks, I can just use a cloth to wipe it off and I can start again. So we'll see what it looks like and what I end up kind of liking. It's difficult to see through the actual stencil. Now, once you have it and everything is kind of where you want it to be as far as how level your application is, what I do is I just peel it back without moving it either way up, like over to the side. because I want that image to remain. And then there we go. Actually, I quite like that. Okay, so into the water my stencil goes, and then you can't see this because my hand is doing it kind of off to the side. Well, I guess you can see a little bit. I give it a bit of a rub because I find if you put this directly into the water and expect that the water is going to dilute the paste immediately and that it's not going to dry on your stencil, you would be wrong. And I know this because that is an error that I have made, where I just assumed that being soaked in the water, the paste would kind of start to dissolve and not adhere to the stencil. And I have had a couple of stencils not do very well with that. Okay, so now I'm going to look at what I've got left. I'm going to put my lid on my jar just to tighten it up. This I didn't end up using, so I can wipe that off. I just have like a face cloth that I use in my craft room for this, and then this one I can get the paste off of that as well so that it doesn't dry and wreck my tools. It dries faster on the tools than it will on your project or your cover, so that's why I prioritize cleaning my tools first, and I can set those off to the side. Now I'm looking. I do like how that mutes that. This should dry back down a little bit. I am going to use a cloth just to kind of get that edge a bit better. Sometimes you can use your finger depending on what you want. I like the look of it on my finger a bit better. Just kind of use the cloth to dab it off. There are a few little bits here that I'm not a huge fan of. I might be able to just kind of clean those off with my finger. Just be really mindful not to kind of poke in where you want things to be left. But if you have all these little kind of dots and errant spots, they, to me, don't look like they were purposeful. And then when I'm looking at it afterwards, when it's dry, it will bother me. So I like things to be messy when I want them to be messy, and otherwise I'm fairly particular about them. Try not to kind of scoop into what your stenciling job has done, because then you can kind of mar the stencil. Look, this one I just want to get with my nail here, which I don't really have a nail on my index finger right now because it broke at one point this week and hasn't grown back. So just be mindful. I like to use my hands. Just find that sometimes I have more control with them than I do with the tool. All right, I'm gonna let that dry. I'm happy with the results. I think it dries back a little bit lighter, so it shouldn't be quite so stark. However, it's a pretty good color match for in here, and it stands out kind of enough on here. And then you still get the effect of these flowers here, even though these ones are covered up a little bit. We've left like 3, which is an odd number, so I'm happy with that. I like to work in odd numbers. So there you go. Thank you so much for spending your time. I hope you learned something that you found of value to you in your crafting journey. It's Natalie from Odd Page Society. I hope to see you again on my crafting journey. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.